All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO gym, and the QBO gym is a place where there are numerous exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper that you can go ahead and practice every single day. We have it broken down into 4 different categories, and within each category is a set of exercises for you to complete. So we are going to be working in the cool down section for June. At the top is a video that talks about Craig's world. He is our fictitious business owner, of course. A little bit further down is a quiz that relates to the video, and then further down are all the exercises within that section. So today we are going to be finishing up the cool down section by practicing running Craig's reports. Okay, so as we have mentioned, for every exercise in this cool down section, you still need to be in the same session of the sample company that you used for the entire cardio section. That is because they are continuing to build on each other as we go. But this is the last exercise in the cool down and for June. So let's get started and finish up strong. So our scenario today is we are practicing running reports. You have reconciled your bank statements and updated your inventory. So now you need to just run reports. Simple P&L, which stands for profit and loss, and a balance sheet. So for the profit and loss report, you're just going to go to the left nav bar, click on reports, and then click on profit and loss. Here I am on my last page from the previous exercise. That's why it looks this way. So we're going to go ahead to reports on the left nav bar here. And then there are some favorites that are already saved. You're going to click on the profit and loss. Now, in a real life scenario, you may need to adjust the dates according to what Craig wants to see on a regular basis. For the purposes of today, we're just going to leave it as the default, which is the year to date. You're going to note a couple of things here. Because we created the retail sales income account, you can see now exactly how much money Craig made on his new retail products, which is big because that was the request that Craig had at the beginning of the month. He wanted to see the difference between his retail sales and his landscaping and design work. And so for you to create this account as his bookkeeper is huge. It's exactly what he is needing to see. So I'm going to show you where that is on here. Here's that retail sales income right there. And then you're also going to note that the purchase retail account is now zeroed out thanks to the journal entry we did in the previous exercise, which redistributed the previous amount that was here to the COGS account and the inventory asset account, which we'll see on the balance sheet in a minute. But you will see that here, that purchases retail, it's zeroed out. It has moved to the cost of goods sold. So you could just print this out, or you can actually export it and send it to Craig that way. Whichever one he prefers, it's always good to ask, but there's a couple of ways that you can send it to him. All right, so let's look at the balance sheet. We're going to go back to the report list and then click on balance sheet. So up at the top here, the blue link, back to report list. And now we're going to go ahead and run the balance sheet. A couple things to look at. Craig has 2 inventory asset accounts. One is the inventory retail, which we created on a previous exercise, and then the inventory asset. The first one is, like I said, what we set up to track the value of Craig's retail products. There is only a value here because we used a journal entry to add it. It's because we are using the periodic inventory for these last couple of exercises. The second one, though, is what was established previously for Craig's landscaping inventory products. This one is updated every time an inventory product is being bought or sold. And again, that is perpetual inventory. It's less manual. It's QBO really tracking a lot more of it versus the periodic where it's a little more manual for us. Keep in mind that a business would typically not use both simultaneously. You are only seeing that here because we have used both you are seeing both here for example purposes. But in a real life scenario, a business is going to use one or the other. But now that you have learned both, you will be fully prepared for anything that you may encounter. So I'm going to show you where that is. Here it is, that inventory retail and inventory asset. This is the one we created using periodic inventory. This is the one that was already there, and this is using perpetual because it's just updating with each purchase and sale. And then one final note here, in a real life scenario, you may want to provide an inventory valuation summary report to Craig each month. In a perpetual inventory system using inventory or QBO's inventory products, this would show how much of each item is on hand and the value of each. But in this scenario and the last several exercises, because we've been using periodic inventory, these items will not show up on report. But it is just something good to keep in mind if you encounter this in a real life scenario. And again, going back to the balance sheet here, if you wanted to print this out for Craig, you could do it here, or you could click on the little arrow here and export it to Excel or PDF, whichever one is his preference. And that's the end of the cool down section and how you would run reports. And if you have any questions about the QBO Gym, just click on the link below and keep practicing. The more you do, the better you get and the easier it is. Every single month in the QBO Gym, we come out with a new set of exercises for you to practice and complete. So be on the lookout for the July section.